this space to breathe that Vidyamala normally leads on a Tuesday, but she's actually on retreat this week, so she asked me to take over for her. So I'm just getting used to the technology again. For those of you who don't know, my name's Sona Frecker. I'm one of the founding directors of Breathworks, and I also happen to be married to Vidyamala and live with her. So that's why it says Sona and Vidyamala on our Zoom account there. So I'm going to lead you through a bit of a practice in a moment, but I'd just like to say something about the practice of breathing. Well, I'll tell you a little story first. That a few weeks ago, Vidyamala finished a 1 month long solitary retreat, and the week after that, I said, "Are you going back? Are you doing breathe to space tonight?" And she said, "Do you mean space to breathe?" And I said, "Oh yes, space to breathe." And I was actually, she said, "Well, that's a very interesting way of putting it." So I kind of said it without thinking really. And you could have forgiven me for thinking I muddled it up, but actually I've been thinking about it today. And I actually think it's probably more accurate than space to breathe, because you all come here thinking that you've got space to breathe, but you're breathing anyway. But I guess most of you have come here, I would just guess, is because you would like to have a bit of space in which to breathe. But if you've done any mindfulness training, you probably have heard the difference between doing things and being things. So you could be making a space to breathe in, or you could breathe to be making space. I don't know if this makes sense to you. It's a bit like, instead of using the space as a kind of a noun, or breathing as a thing that you're doing, you just become what it is you're doing. So what do I mean by that? When you sit down to meditate and to develop mindfulness, let me start another way. When we teach people how to practice mindfulness, we usually say what you need to do is sit down, become quiet, become aware of your body, and then focus on your breath. And watch your breath coming, or feel your breath coming in and your breath going out. And this is actually a very conceptual way of explaining meditation. You might not have thought about this, but it actually involves thinking, doesn't it? You're sitting, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to be aware of my breath. Okay, and how do I become aware of my breath? You're probably not really thinking this, but you could be. And you feel, oh yeah, there's sensations in my body. So what you do is you create a whole number of things that you're participating in. And in doing so, what you're doing is a lot of thinking. And which isn't a bad thing, because it might stop you thinking about all the other things you were thinking about. So you become a bit more focused on thinking about breathing or mindfulness, and that can be quite helpful. But if you've been coming to these sessions for quite a while, maybe it's time to do it slightly differently. What you need to do today is not think about a space to breathe, but just breathe to space. Or, to put it more grammatically correct, breathe to create space. Or, even better still, breathe to become space. When you can fully be kind of absorbed in the experience of breathing, what you start experiencing is spaciousness. Some of you may have experienced this, or you may experience it all the time when you do it. It can take quite a while, but usually what happens is, for us modern human beings, we're thinking all the time, aren't we? Even we're thinking about meditation. You're probably even thinking about what I'm saying. And well, that's probably good, and you're listening. But when you start meditating, in a way, you want to stop all that. You just want to get rid of everything, because that's what the space is. You don't want to think about meditating. You don't want to think about what's happening. You just want to be what's happening. You don't want to do it, you just want to be it. So what this means is that when you start experiencing your breathing coming in and going out, is that you kind of tell yourself, this is breathing. I am breathing. I'm not me breathing. I'm not I am breathing. I'm just breathing. Does that make sense? It's like there's nothing else but breathing at that moment. There's not a you that's breathing. There's not a sort of duality like there's you and there's breathing. There's just breathing. And that's what that's what you're doing, is you're just breathing. And then, of course, a thought comes in. And then there's like another thing. Then you start recognizing there's a thought, and you'll have another thought. Oh, there's a thought. So you've got two thoughts now. You've got the thought coming in like, did I, oh, I didn't do that today. I meant to order a train ticket today, something I thought. And you just say, oh, well, that was a thought. And then what you do is you let it slide off you. A bit like water off a duck, it just hits and slides off. So as soon as a thought comes in and you're breathing, it's like, oh, you let go of it. You don't need to hold on to it. You don't need to know whether you're doing it right or wrong or anything. You're just breathing. You're just letting the breath come and go. And you just might even sort of say to yourself, I'm breathing. I am breath. I am nothing else but breath, just breathing. And this will, what it will do is expand your mind. None of us know really what mind is. If you speak of foreign language, some European languages define mind much more carefully than English, but English is so fluid, the word mind. And consciousness, we can't actually take hold of our consciousness. It's like a hand trying to take hold of itself. If you try to become aware of your consciousness, it's like trying to, how can I take hold of my hand? This hand can't take hold of this hand. So you can't sort of grip the hand and explore it. There's no way of exploring your consciousness. It's just what it is. It's just awareness. It's just being. And when you're doing the meditation, it's just breathing. Simple as that. And if you can do that, it's quite fun. It's like you don't have to try because you're just breathing and you're just letting things slip away. Now, for some people to go from a state of a lot of thought coming, maybe there's some anxiety, you're thinking about things. And if you are if you like imagining things, you can imagine yourself somewhere watching something that's kind of like the breath. So a few weeks ago, I was on a retreat and I got a little bit mildly bored watching all the thoughts come and go and things. And I thought, I'm just watching my thoughts come and go. And I thought, what does it feel like? And I felt like it's like being on a sailing boat. I'm just going up the waves and going down the waves and going up the waves and down the waves. And I just connected that with my breathing. It's as though I could feel my whole body kind of lifting when I breathed in and then dropping when I breathed out. I don't suggest you all try doing this because you might get seasick, or it might not work for you if you're frightened of water and so on. But if you were sitting on a beach and you see a wave breaking onto the shore, flowing up the shore, and then it recedes back into the sea. It's like the breath coming in. And there's that moment when it stops and it flows back. And what you can have a kind of kinesthetic experience of that's a felt bodily experience of this process of breathing. So it's not that you're necessarily following the sensations of breathing, but you're just like the wave. You're just like the breath. It's just coming and going. So I'd like to invite you all to have a go at doing that, just noticing whenever you're thinking, like, I don't know what he's talking about. Don't worry, that's just a thought, right? Let it slip off you and just become breathing, right? So just put that into mind. Just drop it in, as it were, into the calm pool of your mind, or the very, worked up pond of your mind, or the mind that's filled with loads of weeds and everything like that. Just drop it in there like a clearing jewel that just is going to clarify the whole of your mind, and you just become, your mind is just breathing. There's not a you, there's just breathing. Okay, it's good fun and you can't fail. And if afterwards you thought, oh, I was doing a lot of thinking, well, that's mindfulness. You can just pat yourself on the back and say, I knew I was mindful. I knew what I was doing. Oh, I just woken up. I was asleep. Oh, I know I was asleep. That was mindful. So it's a win-win situation. And you do it with a bit of lightness and fun, and just feel your way into it and just kind of let go. So we're going to breathe to space. Not space out, but just be space. All right, just to breathe to space in this space to breathe. So if you'd like to make yourself as ready and as comfortable as you can, being aware of your body posture. If you're kind of leaning back and you can sit up a little bit more erectly, that will make you more alert and make you more bring you into a kind of state of being rather than a state of relaxing. I mean, the meditation is very relaxing, but you're not trying to relax in the meditation. It just does what it does. And for that to happen, you need to be a little bit alert to what's going on. So you've got bodily sensations. If you're sitting up, I can't see everyone at the moment because you're on about 4 different screens. And if you're sitting up, you'll have your bottom on something. If it's a hard seat like mine, I can feel the sitting bones pressing down. I don't know whether that's pleasant or unpleasant. It seems just to be, it's all right. I wouldn't say it's really pleasant, but I'm aware of it. I'm just aware of that sensation. I'm aware of my feet on the floor, aware of the temperature of my feet. I'm just sharing what I'm experiencing in the hope that it's kind of like a role model, if you like, of how to prepare for meditation. I can feel tension in parts of my leg. It's interesting. I'll just accept there's tension. Some of you may have pain. And I'm just checking that my head is well balanced because the head is very heavy. And if I lean it back too much, I'll fall asleep. And if I tip it to one side, I'll cause neck and shoulder stresses and strains. And if I tip it forward too much, I probably feel like falling asleep as well. So I'm having a sense of well balancing my head, so my back and head are aligned. And I'm just going to drop in this word being alert into my mind. I just need to be alert to what's happening. And then I can feel my breath moving. So almost like expanding and contracting. And that's actually what's happening to my body. I know from all the times I've heard Vidyamala explained how we breathe, how many times I've done it myself. I know that the chest expands when you breathe in, and it just contracts a little bit when you breathe out. You could feel all different places if you want to. You could feel the different diaphragms if you know where they are. But really, you just need to know you're breathing. Maybe just drop this thought in, and I'll say this several times through the practice. Drop the thought in. All there is breathing. You can feel that flow, that rhythm. There's just rhythm, if you like. And having a sense that any thoughts, any emotions that lead to thoughts will start making you tense up, just recognizing them as what they are and having a sense of letting them slide off you because you are just breathing. You are the breathing. You're not the thinking of breathing. You're just the breathing. Coming in or just flowing. It's not even coming into anything. It's just flow one way, flow another way. Rise and fall, expand or contract. moving slowly, changing, moving the other way. And don't feel that you need to find an image to help you stay interested in being breathing. Some may come and you just let that be there. Maybe an image of you sitting in the sun on a beach, or just watching the wind blowing a tree backwards and forwards. But it's the felt experience one's moving towards and becoming it more and more, creating more space, experiencing the spaciousness of being just breathing. And every now and again, you just have to check whether there's that radio transmitter going on. It just gives another thought to you, to this, what's ever happening. Oh, I need to think about that. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Just allow yourself to experience that as thought, like a droplet falling on a duck and sliding off. There's not allowing the thoughts to grip by pushing them away or becoming too interested in them. And if you do feel that yourself calming down, creating space, expanding, it's a very enjoyable, can be a very enjoyable experience. You can just note that and enjoy it, but don't overthink it. Just let it be what it is, and stay with being breathing. If you've got too many thoughts coming and going, you may just like to, if it works for you, imagine yourself, as I say, on a beach or somewhere that you like to be, on a mountain or sitting in a park, whatever, maybe even sitting in a cafe watching people go by, somewhere where there's flow, something's flowing. And you could just be with that for a while. At the same time, just coming back to your felt experience of breathing. And you may find after a while you don't need that image, but you may like to use it just to, if it works for you, just stay with it. Just allowing the thoughts to slide off, slip away. Breathe to space. Just being aware of what's happening. If nothing else, but you're being aware of thoughts coming and flowing through the mind, that's very useful. You can do it as well as being aware of your breathing. We're in such a habit of thinking that we become thought. That's all there is sometimes, just thought. And we over-identify with the thought. But imagine being just breathing if you can't experience it very easily. Even if you don't know what it means, doesn't matter. So you can just gently come back to being you, as it were. Being aware of your body, all the different sensations of your body. And you might just like to reflect on what happened in that practice. It's a very good way of helping you to discover how to go deeper, how to expand your experience of mindfulness by just, when you do a practice, is just ask yourself, oh, what happened in that? And it doesn't matter too much what happened, it's just that you know what happened, you become aware of what happened. And your ability to be aware of everything, that what's happening inside you and what's happening outside you and how the two are interacting, kind of expands. You can make decisions more quickly. You feel like you have more choice. You experience freedom, basically. Okay, so that more or less brings us to the end of the practice. And be interesting if any of you want to put something in the chat box. If you had, I mean, you may have fallen asleep, or you may have felt you enjoyed it, or it just didn't work for you, and you didn't know what I was talking about. Anything, you can write anything in the chat box. And Vidyamala will be back next week, and so I'm going to have a look at the chats, and you can leave if you want to. You can unmute. We'll keep staying muted for a while. Let's just read what people have got. Oh, brilliant insights on breathing, Sona. Oh, that was good to hear. That boosted my ego. I was aware of that. There were so very deep moments akin to total surrendering. It's very interesting, Ed. Very liberating meditation, thanks. Worked really well for me, thank you. I found some lovely space tonight, thank you very much. Thanks so much, Sona, and the Sangha, all of you. It's lovely to practice with each of you every week. Sympathetic, pragmatic, humorous, very effective instructions. Maybe that's how I would like to, it's a gift of how to meditate in that empathetic, practical, humorous way. Enjoyable, fantastic practice. It really helps experience spaciousness in my practice. Good. It's a good moment to let go of the day and its worries. Helpful tips. I like the image of a droplet bouncing off the duck's back. Made me smile. I'm sure you could come up with better images than that, but that's what just came to my mind. That was my chat. Thanks very much. Thank you, Sona. Feeling ticklish on breathing in my face. Good. I did manage to feel some calm. Enjoyable. Worked for me too. Love the idea of letting thoughts slip off you, help just to let go. If I'm reading some of these things incorrectly, I'm slightly dyslexic, so don't worry about it. It's not your problem, it's mine. Really enjoyed that practice and the breath image, which I'll use again. Helpful insights, especially using the breath to resemble waves. Loved finding space, peaceful. Wonderful stillness. I love the droplet falling off the duck. Breath, calm, thanks. Reminds me of a steady swimming, just breathing and flowing. Yeah, I've had that experience. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely to meet you, Sona. Lovely to meet you too. And I understand what you meant and have often felt as if I'm like a wave when breathing. Tonight it also felt like one of those fairground carousels and the movement up and down while forward of the horses, up and down while forward of the horses. So the horses going round and round, going up and down. I understand, yeah. very spacious meditation. Another image of the ocean breath for me again today. Looking forward to practicing this again once the recording is available. Such peaceful experience. Great to have the freedom to allow thoughts, observe and let go. Like the meditation, moving up and down with the waves. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing those little chats, and you can unmute yourself now, and you can all say goodbye to one another, all 48 of you if you want to, or Ollie can unmute you, I don't mind, whichever. Maybe you should unmute yourself if you want to say something.
Thanks so much, Anna. That was wonderful. Really, really appreciate that practice this evening. Lovely to be with everyone, as always, on these Tuesdays. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
I agree with that. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care.